Part 3. The Hidden Truth, 2,000 to 2,200 words. Maya couldn't shake the feeling that the truth was just beyond her reach, like a fog she couldn't clear. Her father's journal had given her a glimpse into the chaos that had consumed his final days, but it wasn't enough. The cryptic letters were still coming, each one more alarming than the last, but they only raised more questions than answers. She had to find out more, even if the truth might break her. It had been 2 weeks since she had found the journal, and the weight of it still hung heavy in the air. Maya had spent every waking moment reading through the notes, trying to decipher her father's cryptic final words. It was clear now, her father had known something was coming. But what? The letter that had arrived 2 days ago only deepened the mystery. Someone in your life is not who they say they are. It was the vaguest warning yet, but it sent a shiver down Maya's spine. Someone in her life wasn't who they appeared to be? Who could it be? Could it be someone in her immediate circle? Her mother? A friend? Was there someone who had been playing her all along, hiding their true intentions behind a mask of familiarity? The letter felt like a threat, its message lingering in the back of her mind. But there was no time to waste on the unknown. Maya needed answers, and she needed them now. She had spent the past few days revisiting her father's past, trying to uncover any clue that could help her understand why he had left her these warnings. She had learned a few things she wasn't ready to admit to herself. Her father had been a man of great integrity, but he had also been a man with secrets. Maya had always known there were things her father kept from her, but she had never expected the depth of those secrets. Her investigation had led her to one person, Thomas Ashford. Thomas was one of her father's closest friends, a man who had worked with Jonathan for years. He had been the one to publish her father's books, the one to arrange the public appearances, the one who had always been by Jonathan's side when things got difficult. To Maya, Thomas had always been a trusted family friend. But in the last few days, a growing suspicion had started to gnaw at her. Could Thomas be the one her father had been warning her about? Could he be the person hiding something from her? Maya had called him earlier that week, asking if she could meet him to discuss some things about her father's work. Thomas had agreed immediately, his voice warm and reassuring, as it always was. But now, as she stood outside the cafe where they had agreed to meet, Maya felt a strange unease in her chest. She hadn't told Thomas about the letters, or the journal, or the suspicions that had been growing inside her. But something in her gut told her this meeting was important. Perhaps the most important thing she had done since the letters began. She walked inside the cafe, the bell above the door chiming softly. The place was warm and cozy, the air filled with a rich smell of freshly brewed coffee. Thomas was already seated at a table in the back, his usual smile plastered on his face as he stood to greet her. "Maya, it's so good to see you," he said, pulling out the chair for her to sit. "Thanks for meeting me," Maya replied, sitting down. Well, I've been going through some of Dad's things, and I have a few questions." Thomas raised an eyebrow, a hint of surprise crossing his face. "Questions? About what, exactly?" Maya hesitated, unsure of how to begin. Should she mention the letters? Should she talk about the journal? Could she trust him with this information? She decided to start small, to test the waters before diving into the deep end. "It's about his work," Maya began. "You know, his writing. I've been reading through some of his old papers, and there are things I don't understand. Things he never talked about. It's almost like he was hiding something." Thomas's expression didn't change, but there was a slight tightening of his jaw. "Hiding something," he repeated, his voice laced with caution. "Maya, your father wasn't the kind of man to hide things. He was always honest with you." Maya narrowed her eyes. She wasn't convinced. "Are you sure about that?" "Because I found something. A journal. He wrote in it during the last months of his life. And in it, he talks about things that don't make sense." Thomas shifted uncomfortably in his seat, avoiding her gaze for a moment before meeting her eyes again. "Maya, your father was under a lot of stress toward the end. He was dealing with personal things that had nothing to do with you." "I know about the stress," Maya said, her voice hardening. "But this isn't just about stress, is it, Thomas? This is about something much bigger. Something that Dad didn't want me to know." Thomas leaned forward, his face serious now. "Maya, you need to stop. You're digging into things that aren't meant to be dug into. Your father made choices, and some of those choices were hard. But they were his choices to make, not yours. You need to respect that." Maya's heart pounded in her chest. "Respect it? Respect what? The fact that my father was hiding things from me? The fact that I don't know what happened to him? The fact that he's gone and I don't even know if I ever knew him at all?" Thomas's face softened, but only slightly. "Maya, I understand this is hard. I really do. But there are some things that are better left alone. You don't need to go digging into your father's past. It's painful, and it's not going to give you the closure you're looking for. Maya shook her head. I'm not looking for closure, Thomas. I'm looking for the truth. For a long moment, there was silence between them. Maya could feel the weight of his gaze on her, but she couldn't look away. He was hiding something. She could feel it in the pit of her stomach. He knew more than he was letting on. Finally, Thomas spoke again, his voice low. If you want the truth, Maya, you're not going to like what you find. Maya's pulse quickened. What does that mean? Thomas didn't answer. Instead, he stood abruptly, his chair scraping across the floor. Think about what you're doing. Some truths are better left buried. And with that, he walked out of the cafe, leaving Maya sitting in stunned silence.